Hello everyone and welcome back to the GCSE Maths series. Today we're going to be taking a look at Venn diagrams. So let's get straight into it. There's a lot to learn today. So first of all, we have some definitions and concepts we need to understand. So the universal set is the set containing all elements. And in this case, the universal set will be set by this whole Venn diagram system here. This is the universal set, and usually there is a symbol that they use to denote the universal set. So set notation, we have A, so the elements within A are usually just defined under A. This A here, with a little apostrophe in the top right, is known as the complement of A, so that means every element not in A. A union B means A or B. A intersection B is A and B, which means the elements in both A and B, they have to both be A and B. So diagrams usually have overlapping circles, and each distinct region can represent a part of the set or its complement. Now, we're going to take a look at drawing some sets, drawing some combinations of sets. So, on the Venn diagram with two sets, shade the region representing firstly A and B. So, A and B, if we look up here, it means elements in both A and in B. So we know that all elements in this circle here belong to A, and all the elements in this circle belong to B. What does this tell us about which elements are in both A and in B? Well, the elements that are in both A and B follow this, the intersection between the two circles. Say if I was to have an element here, it's in A, but it's not in B, so it cannot be in the intersection of both. It cannot be in both A and B. Okay, moving on to the next one, we have A or B. A union B. Remember, the U stands for U and the N stands for the intersection. So if we're looking at A or B, we look at all the elements in A and all the elements in B. So this is going to be this whole thing here. And elements outside of A and B cannot be part of A union B. Okay, now looking at, remember, this is the complement of A, which means not A and in B. So if it's not in A, it cannot be within this circle. And furthermore, if it's in B, it has to be in this circle. So remember the two conditions. Which part is not in the red circle but still in the black circle? It is this section right here, exclusively in the B part, not including the intersection of A and B. Okay, now looking at the final one today, A union B to the complement. So this means not A or B. So if we're looking at A or B, if you remember, we said it's all of the elements, so all of this Venn diagram space, which falls into both of these circles. If we're to look at the complement or the opposite, we need to look at all the elements not within these two circles, which means it's going to be all the elements outside of the circles here as such. So all of the elements that fall outside of the two circles. Okay, moving on. Looking at some questions now. In a group of 40 students, 25 study history, 18 study geography, and 10 students study both subjects. First of all, we need to draw a Venn diagram and fill in all the regions. So let's get started on that. So we first draw our outer region, our box, and we have our circle as such, and our next circle like this. And we're told 25 study history and geography is the other. In a question like this, we always start with the intersection, okay? We always start with the intersection. So it tells us that 10 students study both subjects. So we slap our 10 in right there. Okay, Now 25 study history, 18 study geography. What does this mean? This means that in this circle, within this circle here, 25 people should be in or accounted for in this circle. So now if we look at it, we have 25 people studying history, right? But within this circle, I want to ask you guys a question. How many of these people, or how many have already been accounted for? How much is already accounted for? As you can see, there's already 10 within the circle which have been accounted for. Therefore, we do 25 minus 10, giving us 15, and we put our 15 into this part of our circle. Now, we look at the next part and we say, looking at this circle right here, can you see that with my blue pen? Yeah, let's do orange now. Okay, looking at our orange circle, guys. This is for our geography students, right? It tells us that 18 students should be accounted for. Looking at this using the same logic, there is 10 already accounted for in our intersection point. Therefore, 8 students need to be accounted for in our circle, not in the intersection point. Now, to complete the Venn diagram, we are told there is 40 students in the Venn diagram, and counting up, we have 15 plus 10 plus 8. This gives us 25 plus 8, which is 33. Therefore, we know that out of the students in this group, we have 7 which are going to be outside, because these 7 do not study history or geography. They might study business or economics, so they should not be included in any circle to do with history or geography. So 7 students are outside of our Venn diagram. Okay, how many study only history? Looking at this, we see that, okay, this 7 is not included at all because they don't study history. This 15 is included. We need to put 15 in there. 10 study history and geography, but we only want students who study exclusively history. So 15 is our answer. And how many students study neither subject? Well, that's obviously going to be 7. Okay, now let me make space for our question number 2. We are told 100 people were surveyed and 60 said they watched Netflix. Okay? 60 said they watched Netflix, 45 said they watched Disney Plus, and 20 said they watched both platforms. Fill in a Venn diagram for this data. So we have our 2 circles once again. I'm going to put N here, representative of Netflix, and D here, representative of our Disney Plus. Once again, we start with our intersection. It tells us 20 people watch both platforms. So we fill this in here. We then read backwards and say it says 60 said they watched Netflix. So what we know is within this circle here, within the outline on the red, 60 people should be accounted for. We already see that 20 have been accounted for in the intersection point. So we do 60 minus 20 to give us 40, and we put 40 in the Venn diagram. Now, looking at our orange circle now, we have that 45 people watch Disney Plus. So 45 people need to be accounted for within that circle. Looking at the circle, 20 have already been counted for. So we know we need to put 25 in the circle. Now, to round off our Venn diagram, we do add them all up. So 40, add 20, add 25. What's this going to give us? This is going to give us 85. So we need to look at the total. We says 100 people, but we've only accounted 85 people out of the survey. So we must need to put 15 outside of our circles to make sure the Venn diagram is complete and accurate. So that's going to conclude our Venn diagram. It then tells us how many people watch only Netflix. only Netflix is going to be 40. As you can see from here, 20, they watch both. 25, nothing to do with Netflix. And 15, also nothing to do with Netflix. How many people watch at least one of the two platforms? So, with at least one, this means they can watch one or two. It just cannot be that they don't watch it at all. So, this 15 is irrelevant. Therefore, 85 people watch at least one of the two platforms. How many people watch neither? Okay, everything in the circles, they watch either one of them. So therefore, 15 is the amount of people that watch neither. Okay, that's going to conclude today's video on Venn diagrams. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.